Hello and welcome. In this video I will show you how to change the steering wheel on your B8 Audi A4, A5 or Q5 from the old version to the facelifted version. It is really simple and quite plug and play, as you will see, and all the buttons still work just the same as on your old steering wheel. So no problems there apart from the nav button, which does nothing. It only works if you have the facelift car. Then, after you unlocked the steering wheel, put the seat all the way back. You need to remove the negative terminal of the battery. It's with a 10mm, so no airbag blows up. When you disconnected the battery, you can start removing the airbag, and on either side of the steering wheel there's a little flap. Underneath there is a screw for the airbag, and we unlocked the steering wheel so we can turn it 90 degrees so we can access the little flap from the front. And to remove the flap you can use a screwdriver, but I highly recommend for anything plastic in the car using this removal tool so you don't damage anything. So I will now turn the steering wheel up so that we can access the flap. So once the screw is loosened, you can already see the airbag is already giving way on one side. Now we need to do the other side. So once both of the screws are removed, you can carefully extract the airbag out of the steering wheel, and you can then disconnect the little yellow connector in here, which unplugs the airbag as well as the multifunctional buttons. There you go. You now have the airbag, and you can unplug the airbag itself from the rest of the steering wheel, and I will show you that a bit closer. So this is the old airbag with the non-facelifted design, and as you can see, this is the yellow main connector which connects to this plug on top, and to get it out you have to first pull this little green one out. And then, as you can see, the airbag harness is also connected to the steering wheel buttons, and you now need to disconnect this connector here, which seems to have a little pin on top of it. And once you have this disconnected, you can freely move the airbag away, and you can disconnect the rest of the steering wheel. So I will disconnect this one first. Once everything is disconnected, the last thing that remains is unscrewing the center screw. Keep in mind that this one is not reusable, so you have to purchase a new one at your local Audi dealer. It's a 12mm XZN bolt, so it's a bit more specialized than your normal thing, so make sure you have the right tools on hand. Once you remove the screw, you need to pay attention to this ring. Normally, these two lines should be aligned. If for some reason they are not, you need to remember where it is. For me, it's one teeth to the left. So if I put the new steering wheel back on, I also need to put it one to the left and not dead center. I think this has to do with some production tolerances in the steering rack. So just make sure it's the same way as before. So if it's not perfectly centered, the new steering wheel also doesn't need to be perfectly centered. Otherwise, your steering wheel will be slightly off if you're driving straight. Taking off the actual steering wheel is just a matter of sliding it out. There should be absolutely no resistance when every screw is loosened. So this is all you have to do, just slide it out and now slide the new steering wheel back on. So I'll put this away safely. Then I will get the new steering wheel and I will slide it on just the way the old steering wheel was. So if it wasn't perfectly centered, this also now shouldn't be perfectly centered. Once you fitted the steering wheel, you can put on the screw. And for the screw, it's 30 Newton meters plus 90 degrees. So get a torque wrench and tighten it up to spec. Once it is 30 Newton meters, you have to do a further 90 degrees. So get a normal wrench and look at the markings on the screw, and you now turn it 90 degrees. Perfect. Now for the new airbag, you also have the steering wheel buttons that will connect first, and then with the big connector into the middle. So first connect the steering wheel connector. It clips in, and then you tuck away the wire. And you just need to plug in the big connector above there, but I will show you up close first. So this is for the new airbag, and as you can see, you have your cable routing here. So you plug in your multifunction steering wheel buttons there, route the cable nicely along, and then you put the big yellow connector up top. So as I said, the multifunction steering wheel button, route the wire, and then plug in the big yellow connector. Now before you clip in, it's a good time to reconnect the battery and test the buttons and if everything works correctly. Now all that's left to do is to take this airbag and push it into its place because it's clipped. So you have these two clips on either side, and it just pushes in. So make sure all the wire is routed perfectly, and then you can just wiggle it into position. You hear click, click. Perfect.